All right, y'all, welcome back to the first show of the 2024 season. We're starting this year off the same place we started off last year, Hidden Valley Speedway, with our friend Dan Savino. Dan, once again, welcome.
Welcome also. So glad that everybody's been able to show up here tonight, especially you there, Justin, because it looks like you had a hard couple of days here working, buddy, but you'll get through it.
Yeah.
And but no, hey, like I said, I always look forward to participating on anything that can help the racing community, for everybody.
And it's hey now, here we go. These cars ain't nothing slow. Keep those pedals on the floor. Gotta make them wanna come back for more. Been here since the sun went down. White flag when we come back around. Worked all week, it's time to race. Gonna get a little bit sideways. Sideways.
All right, so last year, this show we're going to do similar to last year. Obviously, we don't have to get to know Dan because we did that last time. We'll go over some of the stuff for this season, some of the new stuff, the schedule, some whatever's new at the track. Then we got some questions fired from two drivers here, and then just following up on some stuff we talked about last year. So why don't you go ahead and start us off with what's new this year? Obviously, we're Friday nights, so we can that bugs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. When I, sit down and looked at everything with the gentleman I'm buying the track off of, Joey C., I said, well, this is going to be a 5-year plan for me. The track, as everybody knows, great little track, lots of potential, great racing history here at Hidden Valley Speedway. But I said, well, I'm one person. I'm not a corporation. I'm not, an operation that's got 20 people behind me. So I said, okay, how am I going to do this with all the different things that's needed up here? So I said, okay, I'm going to try and set everything up on 5 years. So, and that's basically what I've been doing. We've made little improvements here, little improvements there. We've had our ups and downs. But, the whole thing is look at the big overall picture. So here in 2024, what we've decided to do is continue. One of the major areas that we're going to focus on is infrastructure. And when I say infrastructure, I'm talking about, some improved lighting, improved sound system, continual work on the track surface. And that's our goal.
So I know we said earlier about track surface, just flashing back to last year, there weren't too many times that the track wasn't racy, at least for big tired cars. Sometimes dry, sometimes wet, sometimes a little sloppy. But that's all just characteristics of figuring out the track and figuring out the cars. I think Justin would agree. There wasn't a time out there that there wasn't.
There wasn't a night that we raced that the track wasn't raceable.
Well, am I allowed to cut in here now? Okay. Well, we try to take great pride in that there. As everybody knows, Dan Bauman, I've known Dan a long time. Dan's got a very good reputation. Dan takes care of Lernerville, and Dan helped me out as much as possible. But there was times where Dan just couldn't be here. So, Rodney, with a lot of help from Rodney, we all worked together to try to do the best we could. We had definitely some challenges, last year with Mother Nature. But we had 5 rainouts last year. That didn't help matters. That really messed with the bottom line. As with anybody that's running a racetrack will know, if you get 1 rain out, it's possible maybe you can make that up from a financial standpoint over the long haul of the season. But when you have 5, it's impossible. And so that was a major challenge for us. Then we had some equipment issues, to work through. We had a major electrical issue here at the track. But we worked through that also. And these are just some of the things, like I'm saying, as infrastructure is what I'm looking at, just because of some of the things down the road that I'm hoping that we can, pursue. But it's like anything else. You can't get to second base till you're out of the batter's box. And that's basically what I'm looking at right now.
Now, this might be somewhat of a silly question, but just popped into my head, so I'll ask it. Being Friday nights, is there any possibility of racing Saturday nights due to a rainout?
Well, here's the issue. If I had my druthers, and I know a lot of people are going to say he's nuts, I'd like to be running both Friday night and Saturday night. But that's That's kind of just not in the plan, right now. But personnel is where the issue comes in. You have personnel that say, hey, we made arrangements that so that we could race Friday night. We'd have to do something Friday. But now you've changed things around and we have to change our schedules around. So, there's certain people on a racetrack that you can, and I don't say this in any type of disrespect, that you can kind of do without maybe for an evening.
Right.
But really the key people, whenever you're missing them, it's very, very difficult to replace them. I try to have a backup for some of my key people, but it just doesn't always work that way. But I'd like to talk a little bit about the Friday night, changeover. And just to come back, 5-year plan for me. I said I'd do an analysis after the second year. And as we all know, 45 minutes away, we got Hummingbird running Saturday night. Very storied track, celebrating, I think, their 60th anniversary this year. And then you have another very storied track in Marion Center. And, being maybe an hour and 10 or 15 minutes away on Saturday night. They've got phenomenal fan bases. So, racing has changed a lot in the last, I'd say, probably 15 to 20 years, where it used to be the back gate took care of almost everything. It's not that way today, unless maybe you're at Port Royal, all right, that you can average 5,000 people there in a night. You got the demographics of over 2 million people to draw from, less than an hour and a half. It's not that way out here. So you have to look at where am I going to get the biggest bang for the dollar as far as on your investment. So to answer your original question there, Connor, we took a lot of consideration in many different avenues, and we decided we were going, Friday night, especially with the fact that I spoke with Audie up at Thunder Mountain, and since nobody was showing kind of an interest in opening it up on a full time, I said, okay, I'm going to go for it. And we knew that there was always the possibility of maybe having a couple special races up there, which, there is. And so I wish them all the success in the world, but hopefully we can work together so there's no conflict within our schedules with the announcement of the next race. And I'll just kind of let it at that.
The next race. So
Yes.
There's something coming down the pipeline.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a possibility there might be a second race up there. And the reason I was getting at this is, nothing negative against, anybody up there, but I was told that they had no idea the people that's running it up there or the special race that I had switched over to Friday nights. And we have a race scheduled for on the 28th, and they're going to be running the Gaston Memorial, which I think is a fantastic idea. The man's just a great man, the family and everything when it comes to racing. But we had a super schedule, scheduled for that night because we're running the supers once a month here now. And, but they didn't know it. So I'll take them at their word. But I've talked to them and I say, whatever we do, let's get together. If you're going to have another race, the big word, if you're going to have another race, so that we have no conflict, in our schedule. And
Yeah, I was going to bring up that race, just seeing that it was on a Friday night and stuff. Do you have, I know it's early, any intentions on changing stuff around just so there isn't a competition?
well, what we're going to do, that race right there, we will not be running the supers, okay, on that night. I mean, it's just rocket science. It's a memorial, and I don't like trying to go against somebody. I just wish I had known ahead of time because we could have probably worked something out really, really pretty special had there been, a little bit of better communication. But we'll worry about that, down the road. Now, the supers were going to be running back to back. The 28th, they were scheduled for their monthly race. Then I am also scheduled as the big Independence Day schedule. So Hummingbird is not racing that night. And but on that Saturday, Marion Center has a memorial race up there. So I'm going to talk to the people up there and see maybe we can do some type of a joint venture there, us Friday night with the special Independence Day race, as well them up there with the Saturday race.
Yeah, work together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I guess since we're on topic with schedule, do you have anything else to add for our schedule next year, or to bring up to the people that listening?
Well, I think we have a good, basic, solid schedule. We have our we'll open up the big race with the Sheets McGarvey Memorial, and then we have a real nice 4-cylinder memorial there for
Marlon and Gene.
Marlon and I think it's Gene
Yep.
Lazier, which is very instrumental here at the track as far as whenever it got going. He did a lot of the electrical work, up here. We also have the traditional Faye Lamadou Memorial, in this season. And there's another memorial too. The Jess Mayhew, yes, memorial. And I will tell you this, that there's some change in the Halloween Madness around a little bit. The Halloween Madness, if you talk to any racer, I would say that is 45 years of age or older, they will tell you stories about the sideboards. Okay. And they used to race them up here. Okay. Raced them a lot over at Marion Center. I raced them up at Dog Hollow several times. And so we're going to have a sideboard special for the supers as well as the two other, their classes that'll be racing. And that'll be, I believe, on October
I think it was the 12th.
Let's see here. October the 12th. Yes, it's a Run What You Brung special. And the ATVs and UTVs will also be, there that night. I've had a lot of phone calls, and I'll just let everybody know they'll be listening to this. Last year we started with the All-Star Legend Series. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of things that happened in the Legend Series. Devin Freeze, anybody that's ever watched Supers here in Central Pennsylvania, Devin Freeze was a top tier late model driver. And his two boys, they purchased the Central Pennsylvania Legend Series, and they're running that. Unfortunately, with us running Friday night, they already have a lot of shows scheduled, like for down at Clinton County. And so we're not going to be running the Legends this year. Hopefully some things can transpire as far as come next year, we'll be able to bring them on, because the Legends just put on one heck of a show. And with that being said, we're not going to be running the 270 micros or the 600s on a regular basis. We're going to run in the 600s once a month because they eliminated them down at Clinton County. So we'll have them going.
So you said, we're focusing on infrastructure and lights, and is there any, side objects that you're going to slightly work into?
Well, like I said, there's a lot of things here at this facility.
Right.
And this is no disrespect to anybody that's been here at the track. It's just racing on a small grassroots track is tough. Okay. Anybody, whether you're an owner, whether you're a promoter, because like I'm saying, the racing has changed an awful lot over the last, several years. If you're at a track where you're averaging 4,500 to 5,000 people on a nightly basis, you can do a lot of things. Okay. And one of the things we're going to focus on is trying to get the attendance up. It's basically a lot here. What you do, you change dollars. Money comes in, money goes out. Okay. People, they meant, we need better purses. We need better purses. Well, how do you get that? It's fans and stands that pays the bills and sponsorship. It's something, we have a plan for that, but as most people know, I live in Altoona. Okay. My goal is to get moved up here. Once I'm up here, then we'll have a little bit more time to do certain things. There's a lot of story history here in Clearfield. And what we need to do is to get some of that history to be able to pay dividends and getting people to this track. But that just takes some time. And I think the way you can do that is have some great racing, have people be positive, get off the social media garbage. Okay. And it's unfortunate. I say, if you have an issue, come talk to us. I don't care what track it is.
Right.
Every track deals with this stuff, but we're trying to do the best we can, with what we have. But some of the other things here, as far as within my goals, whenever I said about as far as infrastructure, make some improvements in the concessions. We had a big major, like I said, electrical issue last year, and got that rectified. And just in every little area, just try and improve upon it. Down in the pits, a couple of areas we've been singled out as far as, like I said, a little better lighting and better speaker system. Fortunate enough that the majority of all the people that work here at the track, probably about 90% are all returning. We've got a great group of people here, at the track that I like to consider. I call them, family. It's not about individuality. It's about for the total, overall, good of the track.
I do want to throw in here before we get farther down the way. You guys did have your awards banquet, and it was great. I mean, everyone I've talked to, we've enjoyed it. It was great food, great atmosphere. You gave out wonderful, wonderful stuff to everybody. And again, thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And then, while you brought that subject up, when I didn't have the awards banquet, for the first year, there was some negativity. But like I told people, I've put on some unbelievable awards banquets over the years. And that's something that the racers deserve. And anybody, at the track and they want to come, it's fine. But we're living in little different times. My first year had a lot of cost and things. And I just decided that there's no way that I could do that and do it right. I wasn't going to rent a garage, have a bunch of guys bring a case of beer in or something like that. That's just not my style. Okay. So I decided, okay, we're going to get through this first year, but I knew in the back of my mind, we'd have a nice awards banquet the second year, and I'd take care of 2022 as well as 2023. And it was a very positive awards banquet, a lot of positive comments. There was a lot of hard work, that went into it, but it paid off. So we'll shoot for it again in 2024. And just got to get a little more of the racers loosened up a little bit out there on the dance floor and learn to do that Texas two-step. You know what I mean?
Man. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't go. I was kicking myself in the butt, but I've had to watch this guy over here dance.
I dance very lightly.
Well, it's been a little tough year, and I'm not looking for any pats on the back or anybody feels sorry for me. But I've had some medical issues here in the off season that I been dealing with, and it really, for the lack of a better word, let's just say it kicked my butt.
Yeah.
Okay. And but we're getting better every day, feeling a little better, and season's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And we've been doing some things up here. It's going to be a work in progress, and my focus is right now to get the track and get everything ready as far as for test and tune. And if Mother Nature can cooperate a little bit, then get ready for the springtime spectacular race. Because that's something there I always look forward to. If you want me to elaborate on it a little bit more, if you have another question, we can always come back to that.
Oh yeah, you can keep going. I can work my questions in.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing I always loved about the springtime spectacular is that it gives all the racers, as well as people working the track, an opportunity to go out, get their feet wet. They're still racing for a purse. They don't have the pressure on them. Oh, I got to be ready. Because if not, I'm going to lose double points. I don't believe in that. Other tracks might do that type of stuff, but I don't. And because it puts entirely too much pressure, in my opinion, on the racer, as well as the facility. Gentlemen, let's just say, especially where the world is here in 2024, guys are still waiting on pistons. Guys are waiting on, camshafts. I hear it all the time from engine builders. They're not ready. So they've got a competitive car. And here you go out and you start your first season, you have a race, and you got to double points. So you're not ready. So you're already in the hole. How are you going to make that up? It's not going to happen. So we do the springtime spectacular. It's a non-points race. You come out, you hit it hard, and you hope you hit it, home run. But if not, then you have another full week to go back, get that car ready for opening night when points begin. That's my philosophy.
I agree 100%. I really do. It gives everybody a chance to get some bugs worked out before you're just really going full bore.
Right. And I mean, we have test and tune, but whether you're test and tuning here or another track, my car, I might not be ready for test and tune. So a shakedown race is going to be just as good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at it too. I mean, notoriously, we live in cold country. Guys work, overtime, double shifts, that kind of stuff. And if they can't make it.
Yeah. And this is the season where work ramps up.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. I hate this term. I want to circle back to infrastructure here. And one of the topics that's come up when I talk to other drivers is timing and scoring. And just inquiring on where we are implementing, the MyLab stuff and what.
Great question. All right. I wish I could give you 100% answer, but I would give you a very honest answer. But I want to back up to something else first. The scales will be up and operable. Okay. Definitely for the springtime spectacular. Okay. They should have been up and running last year. I've been ready, but we had terrible timing. When we'd be ready, the cement company wasn't ready. Or I'd be ready, it poured down rain. And as you all know, when that truck comes across that track, it'll rut the hell out of it. It's not dry. I don't need that,
Don't need a
issue to
cement
deal
truck
with.
stuck in turn 3.
And if I get a truck stuck down in that infield down there, who's responsible for paying to get it out? Me. So, but it will be done, even if I have to do something a little bit, different. That aspect of it, like I said, the scales will be taken care of. On the MyLaps thing, I'm working on that. Last year, I tried to go with Westhold. Here's the problem. Westhold system's $10,000. And basically I told them, you give me a $3,500 credit, I'll write you a check, and it'll be the system. They wouldn't do it. They wanted to give me a lousy $1,000 credit for a 40 unit system. So I told them to pound salt. All right. It's that simple. And so I've been in contact with the MyLaps, and we're going to do everything we can to have it, go on here.
Okay. I don't think we've had many, if any, really in our class, but it's something I've heard.
Right.
I
I understand.
people, I'll ask it. Just like I said, infrastructure, stuff like that. I fit that into that category. And then another thing, once again, using that term, circling back to what you said about social media and it being lousy. Another thing that I've had people come to me, fans of the track come to me saying our social media presence needs work here.
I mean, as far as more elaborate and things like that.
I think some of it's timing.
Mhm.
I feel like we don't. I say we. I don't want to just say you.
Right.
I'm not here to point fingers. Sometimes information comes out a little late on the social media. While we as drivers may have known it weeks before, what people are seeing online is Thursday. It's coming out. Is there any avenue for the track to bring in a younger person who is skilled in navigating that double-edged sword, which is social media, in a way that would appeal to the masses?
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit. I understand what you're saying. I think I have a phenomenal IT guy. Okay. If anybody watched WTAJ TV station, he's responsible for a lot of the stuff that's there. The problem is that he's in Altoona. He doesn't have a whole lot of tremendous, a lot of free time. So that's where the issue, comes in. We always try. I will not put out a running order before Thursday night. Okay. To me, I see there's no reason for that. All right. Now we're racing Friday night, so the running order will come out on Wednesday. Okay. But as far as some of the announcements and things like that, I have to work around his schedule. And Terry does a lot of public relations and try to work around his schedule. Terry's very, very busy with, everybody knows he works for the ambulance company, and sometimes he does double shifts. So I got to work around that. And I'm going to tell you something. I am not an IT guy. Okay. What takes me an hour, if I'm doing something on the computer, somebody else can do in 5 minutes. I grew up in the pinball age, and unfortunately, I have my smartphone, and that's about it. But are we open to have some additional their help, maybe or something like that? Yeah. I know of a particular track. They got 5 people working in the promotional department. Okay. And so it's a situation there where I would love to be able to say, okay, I've got an office can do this, people do that, but it takes time, it takes money, it takes a lot of good thought out processes there to be able to do that. However, Connor, if you're volunteering, okay, I might be open to that. Okay.
I mean, we could work a little something out, maybe, but no. And like you said, nobody does anything in this world for free. And when you're a one-man band out here, not everybody sees that. So
I could probably back up on that and say there's a little bit of misstatement whenever it comes to free, because there's a particular track down east. Okay. And to me, it's one of the top 3 tracks in the country. Okay. And do you realize that everybody in that track, except for 3 people, is all volunteerism? And this is a track that averages 4,500, 5,000 people per race. There's many nights down there is 8 to 10,000. There's only 3 key people that get paid. The particular gentleman down there I've been friends with for many, many years. All right, general manager, promoter, works off of $1 million budget. And I don't say this from an egotistical standpoint. You give me $1 million budget, I'll put Hidden Valley Speedway on the map. But it's just, there's only so many dollars. When you price stuff out, I'm just pricing all my current pricing for all the restaurant, concession stuff here. And I'm sorry, folks. There's going to be have to some things passed on. I try to keep the prices very, reasonable. I don't sell junk. Our food is high quality, but there's been some increases. So last year I absorbed that, but this year I got to pass some of that there on. And it's just a constant thing monitoring, because I don't think the average race fan, and this is not putting anybody down, really realizes how much money it costs, okay, to take care, just to put the show, on. It's a one-night venue. It's not Sheets. It's open 24/7, okay, around the clock. And you really got to watch your margins whenever, you're doing these type of things. So, and like I said, when you have 5 rainouts, it's difficult. So I pray to the Lord, all right, that he cooperates better with us this year, than last year. Next question, my friend.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's all right. I can go on. As you see, I got a list. Okay. But, the first year, if you recall, we had we had 0 rainouts, and, but we had a 7-week span, just unbelievable weather. And as we all know, there's a man-made pond out here that can only hold so much water. So fortunately, during that period of time, there was another pond down at the end of the other side of the property that we had access to. So we were going down there, getting water, transferring it up to the track. And even had the fire company come up, they'd bring their water just to try and do what we need to do. But we had a few nights there that weren't all the greatest, because we just didn't have enough water. So at that particular time, I said, well, that will not happen. Okay, in 2023, I said I'm gonna do one of 2 things. I'm gonna tap into the old well that was up here. Got a couple estimates, anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000. Okay, for that. I said, but I have to have some type of insurance policy. Well, we didn't go that route. All right. We expanded the pond, and to be able to have more water. So we had no issues at all, last year at all. Plenty of water. One of the good things about the rainouts was that we had lots of rain. So we were good. But this year I've increased my capacity by almost 100%. So that aspect is one of the infrastructure things. It's done. Now it's just a matter of just getting ready and filling the pond back up. So,
and that's an infrastructure thing to note, that nobody is going to see or know without being said here. And it's one of those quote unquote thankless jobs that had to be done, but it is being done, and it makes a big impact.
Yeah, because nobody's running down there with a yardstick measuring the depth of the pond every weekend to go, oh, well, Dan wasn't down here doing anything.
It's only 3 feet.
So, like I said, we're happy about that. And the other thing is that I would love to be able to tell everybody that I've put 2 foot of clay, okay, on the track. No, not the situation. We're doing a few things. We'll be putting some clay here shortly. One's 3 and 4. 1 and 2 is not a problem. We got plenty of clay there to work around, and the back stretch and the front stretch really isn't too much of an issue. It's very, very difficult finding good quality clay here in this area. I've taken 7 samples because I just won't put any clay on the track. I've been searching a lot of different places within Clearfield County. Now, I have a place that has unbelievable clay. It's 58 miles away. All right, it tested out phenomenal, because I won't do anything with clay unless I take it to soil and earth sciences down at Penn State and have it analyzed. I know what I'm looking for as far as with with the clay analysis. And like I said, the only place I was able to find that had what I wanted was 58 miles away, and the cost is just unreal. The trucking and everything, and that for that. So that's always on the back burner. Where Rodney had been getting the clay, and where I got the clay up here, they no longer have any clay in that particular quarry. So I've located a source. The sample is in the back of the vehicle right now, and so tomorrow I'll be at Penn State dropping it off. I might not be able to be as quite as picky as what I want to be, because I got to get some on turns 3 and 4. So that's kind of where things are, right there. Looking at it, and a few of the tests that I've done on it, it's not bad, but unless I have to know the numbers. There was a clay source that I found, but unfortunately, it had an extremely high sand content. And the way the price of the tires are and everything else, you'd have been going through tires like, oh hell. So
we appreciate that.
Yes. And so you got when you're looking at clay, there's 3 key areas you want to look at. You want to look at the percentage of clay, the clay percentage. You want to look at the sand. You want to look at the salt content and the silt content, and you have to really know what you're looking at. And that's why I have enough experience with the people down at Penn State. They're phenomenal, and also they call him the organic guru, Mr. Ed Davis out of Bakersfield, California. Ed is 81 years old. He's forgot probably more than what anybody knows, but he works with the Outlaws. He works with Lucas Plus all tracks all over the country, and he's been a very good friend of mine. And so I don't have to bug him all the time. He says, if you can find within these numbers, you'll be fine. So
one thing I forgot to bring up at the beginning of the show when we were talking about upcoming for the year is we have a new class coming in and a returning class for trial. I know actually last time we sat down and recorded, I got on the phone with you and we kind of went back and forth about Penn, Ohio coming here because they don't have a Friday track. But then you also have your Econolate. So let's touch up on those.
Sure. The Penn, Ohio, that was brought to me as a possibility. And as we all know, in my first year, we brought them on, and I said that I would give it a 4-week trial, which I did.
Well, I even think you went past your 4-week.
That's correct, and I will continue with that. Okay, so I went another 2 weeks. I went another 2 weeks, keep on back of my mind hoping that it would grow, and it didn't. But by the middle of the season, I said, you know what? Person my word, I'm going to run this thing through and see what happens. And guys ran the whole season under the Penn, Ohio. However, it cost me a little over $5,000, for that. And I said, no, can't do it. Okay, can't do it all. I went above and beyond what I had told the guys. And I said, no. So as you know, we didn't run them last year. So it was brought to my attention that the fact that since I'm going Friday night, there might be a major interest, in that. So we haggled things around and this and that, whatever, did a little bit of background and looked at some numbers and all that. So yes, Hidden Valley Speedway will be sanctioned for the Penn, Ohio Series here in 2024. And I'm excited about it.
It was really fun being involved in that for having not a single,
not a dog
or
in the
car in
fight,
the race,
right.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
It almost made me look into buying a car just to
do it. Yeah.
Have you, and you don't have to announce it now, have you found a sponsor for that class yet?
Not yet. Okay. I've talked to a few people, but I know the majority of what most sponsorship is worth, what different tracks are getting. All right. And like I said, I'm not looking for money like Port Royal or Lernerville. We're a grassroots, type track. But also, when you look at the way the racing community is, and you look on a cost per week basis when it comes to advertising, I think what I'm asking is for a sponsorship is very reasonable compared to some other places. Because like I said, I don't believe you can get out of the battery box Okay, we're the second base till you have the batter's box, and that's what I try to do with my sponsors. Start out gradually, let them get comfortable, and see the benefits of it, and go from there. But no, as of right now, no. Is there a few coals in the fire? Yes, but we'll see what happens.
I know we talked about trying to do something, but not recording for 3 months kind of put a damper on our income via podcast.
I understand that. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do, but just like I said, I'm just one person. And once I get up here, things will be a little bit different.
And then onto the Econolates, it kind of sounds like, when I first interviewed you, we talked about how the semi-late class has evolved and evolved and evolved. And it's so close to being steel block, Mason-Dixon-esque class. It sounds like you've made the decision to jump back and say, well, let the semi-lights run away how they're running. But here's another class for you guys to get into.
That is true. However, we've also made it a way that if the Mason-Dixon guys or the late model sportsman guys want to come up and run, they can do it. But there's some new rules to that. And I read the rules. Are we going to get guys like that here every week? No. Okay. Because they're running here, they're running there. But, if they want to come up, I'm not going to turn them away. But here and again, they have to do certain things because I don't want to do anything in any way that's going to jeopardize our guys that support this track week in and week out. But here's what I will say. We had a pretty nice race here last year, and there was a couple of Mason-Dixon guys, up here. Now, unfortunately, there was one guy had definitely some issues, they're mechanical wise. But who won the race? The Jacoby boy. All right, our guys can run with them. To me, it's mostly psychological. This is a small quarter-mile bull ring. You can take all that horsepower, and you know what you can do with it. It has nothing to do with it. I've watched supers up here run with a big horsepower, and I've watched some smaller guys whip them. It's all about the setup. We're not a big half-mile track. We're not even a 3/8 mile track like up at Dog. This small quarter-mile bull ring is all about setup. Yeah, you gotta have some decent horsepower, but no, it's about setup.
Oh, and I know I was down. Now, granted, I don't hold a candle to some of the guys I race against.
Well, you are a master at one thing there, Connor.
What, looking backwards?
That's called the merry-go-round special. It's okay. Well,
hey, I had a crucial part in Justin's first win here now.
Oh, that is true.
If I didn't go around.
Back there,
you're giving me heartburn.
Yeah. Particular record drivers say, Dan, we always know we're going to be busy because we can always guarantee Connor for at least one spin out a night.
Hey.
That's called job security, right?
That's right.
Hey, at least I know your name.
That's right.
Yeah. But guys,
hats.
You can have a little bit of fun. Look out. I love having fun back and forth,
I don't race to win. I do it for this. I do it for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And winning's not yet. Now, when you get the first one, that might change. But winning isn't anything that I really even think about. So no, I have fun here. At the end of the night, I come up in the stands and hang out with people. That's all that's about. We poke fun all the more. That's camaraderie that we like.
I'd be remiss. It just came in my mind because I wasn't looking at the schedule. But we have another, maybe I should look at the schedule, but we have another great memorial race. And that's for a lady that worked here for a long time. That's the Karen Condon Memorial. Okay. And I apologize for not mentioning that, earlier. But that should be an exciting night because it's the part of the mountaintop, challenge. The other thing is that I was trying to work that there out with the Modified Mafia Tour. And, we had them scheduled last year, and this is a tour with the Modifieds. It's just growing in leaps and bounds. It's doing fantastic. Brandon's doing a great job there. But unfortunately, Mother Nature really messed with us last year, and we could not come up with a rain date, for it. So this year, because the way the Modified Mafia Tour works, they want to be able to race Friday night and Saturday night within a geographical. They don't like to travel more than 150 miles. Okay, well, with me going, because before what we do, they'd race Friday night Bedford, and then, they'd go to a Saturday night track. And that's how we were going to do it here. But unfortunately, that didn't work. And by me going Friday night, could not come up with a place where they could go for Saturday night. Had a couple of places I called, but they weren't interested because they said their schedules was already made. So I contacted another track that I don't think we'll have that problem come next year. So, but that's if anybody is wondering out there why the Mafia Tour is not on the schedule, that's the reason why.
Now I've been brainstorming some questions, not about, it has nothing to do with Hidden Valley, but it's a driver asking a question to a promoter, an owner, about things that I've seen just around the racing community. And to me, things like they don't make sense to us as drivers, I'd say. But I'd like you to see if you could put a spin on it, or you can tell us that it's just as dumb as we think they are.
I won't have a problem telling you that, but I'll try to do it tactfully.
I don't care. So there's been a little bit of a hubbub lately about tire rolls and in classes, especially tracks, limiting your tire to a certain type or a certain compound or certain stuff. What do these tire manufacturers come to tracks and say to entice them to do that? And usually, how often does it actually work out? Because there's never been a time, I had a crate motor last year and I've wanted to go to some rush races, but for me to spend almost $1,000 on 4 new shoes to not make that back ever, just didn't seem feasible.
It's called mucho dinero, my friend. Okay. And the way it works is this. I do not believe in a tire roll. When I took over Dog Hollow Speedway in 2014, all right, particular individual who's in it all throughout the United States of America and all throughout racing, came in and offered me a $30,000 check if I would have a tire roll. Okay, that particular tire would be the designated tire at Dog Hollow Speedway. Told him I wasn't interested. He said, "Are you nuts?" I said, "I probably would be." I said, "I know an individual that would just jump on that." It's not about the money. Yeah, could the track use it? Fine. But I don't believe that I should ever dictate to a racer, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that, okay? Because I'm not giving that person the money to go out and buy those tires. They're hardworking blue-collar people. They're out busting their butts every day to try and put a car on the track. So now he has to go and buy a particular tire. All right, no, I don't believe in that. So, this way I give them the choice. It's an open tire roll. The majority of the tracks that are set up, all right, that you got to do this, you got to do that, somewhere along the line, somebody is getting money. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, all right, because they have a big program. There's a particular series that I'll let unnamed, all right, that they do phenomenal for their racers and everything, but they get a lot of money from this. And that is in a series. Now, maybe if I was involved in something like that, I would want it to the point where, okay, I would want to give a choice. All right, you can run this brand, you can run that brand or whatever, but I'm not going to come up here and say, no, you have to run this particular tire. And let's talk about the Penn Ohio for a moment. I got no problems with that at all. Penn Ohio, okay, is an open tire roll. Okay, and I like that. So is the racers until they go to one particular track.
And it's a Friday night track, by the way.
That's right, it is. So yeah, it doesn't take rocket science. And on that particular track, they got to run a certain brand tire. And that certain brand tire is not made in Indiana, Pennsylvania. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Listen, guys, I've been around this a long time. I make mistakes, absolutely. But I also try to be extremely informed on what's going on. I don't talk bad about other tracks. I like to see what they're doing. And so that, having great success there at this particular track, doing this, doing that. Right, let's take the blindfolds off and let's see, maybe it'll work here. Or maybe it won't work. Maybe it's working at that particular track, right? Because of where they are, different, classes maybe they're running, and but it'll never work, here. So I think you have to always keep your eyes open, your ears open, just to see what's, changing in the industry. But I've never been a fan of, somebody comes and say, you got to run this, you got to run that.
I just think it's silly because when you Justin, what's the word for when you test the tires softness? When you run a durometer on, say, a Crate Racing USA 25, which is Crate Racing USA's one of their 2 tires. It is the same as a 1325. Now the rules say you can't sipe them, you can't groove them, you can't do X, Y, and Z. And you get into maybe siping patterns and stuff like that, but it's the same tire. So if I show up at your track with a 1325 in the same blocks cut, how much of an advantage am I really at?
You're just missing that fancy sticker on the side.
Right. And the fact that I paid way less for, or more, or whatever for tires.
Well, I mean, the open tire rule really fits for, grassroots.
Yes.
I get tires and give them away.
I go online and I find big teams that are selling tires from their most recent stint of a tour, and I buy them. This is the first year I've had new tires.
I got guys come pick up used tires, and they'll grind them, sipe them, clean them up, and that's what they run all year.
If I can say something, Justin, okay? And this is no slight against you either there, Connor, but I think Justin's a little bit more as far as season.
Oh, I'm an
racer,
idiot. You
okay?
can say that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. No, you're learning. And
We've all been there.
For the fans out there that's listening to this podcast, all right, maybe you could throw a little education out there because we throw a lot of terms, okay? Siping. All right. How about explaining that there exactly what the word siping means on a race car tire?
So you have grooves and then you have sipes. Grooves are cut to allow dirt and clay to get into the treads and obviously grip it. Well, siping, you can do it one of 2 ways, one to heat, one to cool a tire. And it also helps the tire, what we say, fire against the track. It allows it to heat or cool or stay at that precise temperature of where the rubber really grips the track the best.
Awesome. I think some of our fans, because believe me, I hear it all the time. Hey, Dan, what's this mean? What's that mean? Okay. And when I usually tell them, I don't want to give them if it's something simple, I'll give them an answer. But I tell them the best thing to do, okay, talk to a racer.
Yeah. Come down and talk to us. I mean, we're willing to talk to anybody.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that there. Anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, that was a good call going with him. I mean, I would have told you temperature control, but I wouldn't have exactly went into the depth.
Yeah.
I read a lot of magazines.
How about the Econolates?
Oh, Econolates. Yeah, we haven't touched the
It's all right.
Econolates.
I'll handle your.
Yeah, Dan, you run this thing. Here.
There you go.
I was going to say, can we just sit back and listen?
Yeah, right.
Oh, I enjoy it, guys. Like I said, I told you before, you're welcome anytime. Okay. Anything that can help our racers, our fans, because you know what? We all feed off each other. All right. I can have this track here, but if we don't get the fans, we don't get the racers, it'll mean nothing. And, if there's not a track here, then the racers don't have a place maybe to come, there and race. It's close by. Because let's face it, the price of fuel and everything else, you got to really watch where you're spending your dollars these days. The Econolate class. It was brought to us. Yeah. When a little history, when you go back and you look at the basic 358 class, whenever it was started, all right, it was kind of started as a
beginner starting
poor man's way of getting, into a late model type chassis and that. And when it first started out, it wasn't too bad. But it's unfortunate to me, what has happened in that class. There's always going to be guys that have unlimited income. And then there's guys, okay, that are busting their tails just to try and get enough money there to take care of maybe the guy that's helping them or two to get into the pits. And there were some things that was done in this class that have been left go to really increase the cost of racing for it. But with that being said, we had people that have come to me and they said, Dan, do you ever think about maybe having a class where we could take a pure stock guy, all right, got a good basic engine, but he can't afford to really get up in to be competitive, all right, with the upper echelon of the 358 class. But yet he still wants to learn what's it like to be able to drive, right, a late model. So we decided, when you look at some of the other classes throughout the country, there's some economy classes, especially down south, that have done extremely well, where this guy can take that motor right out of this pure stock, put it into a late model chassis, and go racing without spending tremendous dollars. And as things maybe change in his life, he can maybe bump up to a full 358, but he gets the experience. And I will tell you, are we expecting to set the world on fire here this first year? No. Okay. I mean, a couple cars here, a couple cars there, but I think as guys, see it, and people's lives change, and budgetary wise, they say, yeah, I can't go out, okay, and compete in that, the big boys class. But yet I can spend maybe $8,000-$10,000 and get into this econo late, here class, and have fun and learn. So that's where we are, with it.
Man, that would have been nice 4 years ago.
Well, like I said, we're going to keep our fingers crossed and, just see, because, you see, out there on a nightly basis, what's taking place. But here again, I don't think that, I think sometimes guys put their money into things that is not going to really advance their class.
Yeah, like 2-3 new bodies and no new shocks, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, this particular track is just not about horsepower.
It ain't about looking pretty either, apparently. That didn't help me at all.
So I'm hoping, like I said, that it works out. I got to put a little plug in there if anybody's looking for a really good late model chassis. A friend of mine has one, and $2,500. He started at $5,000, and he had a couple of people, that were contacted there. But it's like going, window shopping. Always, looking, but never stopping to buy. But he owns a business in Pittsburgh, and he just doesn't have the room to keep this car, there, because he has a super, and he'll be running up here occasionally this year, but he needs the room. So he called me the other night. He said, "Dan, you tell anybody, $2,500. It's theirs. It's a damn good car. It was updated in 2015 by Chubb Frank. So I need any more information, call me, 814-502-8898, and I'll give you his name, his number, and hopefully you can work things out. Because if not, he's going to disassemble it. Well, I will tell you this, okay? Seeing that I have a few notes on here, and I just looked at my scribbling. I'm hoping to make an announcement this week of a very special race that it won't pertain to any class here at the Hidden Valley Speedway at the end of the year, except for one. Okay. Just trying to work on some of the particulars and that on it, but there's a particular track that gave up something that they ran every year, and we've been contacted to see if we'd like to be the host for this. And it's just trying to find the date because of these type of cars, things that take place at the end of the year. It's about 7 different classes. Okay. And plus there'd be one class that's racing. So that's just a little bit of suspense. Hopefully here, I'll have the information here and we can get the, I will tell you this, we're looking at the date of, I believe it's September the 27th. Just trying to look around some of the other tracks that have some big events for this event so that there's no conflict. And now we're just debating whether or not it's going to be a 1 day or a 2 day. I'm preferring for the first year for it to be a 1 day. But hopefully I'll have that information and we'll make the announcement as soon as we know.
Cool. So going back to, maybe schedule wise, do we have anything upcoming for the kids? Bike races, anything
absolutely.
like that?
Yep. Well, on our schedule, we have the There's 3 bike races that are scheduled. Plus, we have those phenomenal spectator races that are on the schedule. And I also hope to make the announcement this week of something strictly just for the kids.
Awesome.
Okay. But here again, you got to, and this is where I say we are in our infancy. And, and I had a nice kids club up at Dog, some of the other tracks that, and I love to see it because it's the youth. I don't care if we're talking, when you look at hunting and fishing, see a dramatic downsize, okay, in that. And that's the future. And if we don't do something about that to get these kids interested, where's it going to be in another 10, 15 years? Okay. And it's the same way here with racing. But there's just so many different avenues here that need done. And I look at my master plan, and it's there. And hopefully, like I said, I was hoping to be able to have a few other things announced, but like I said, I'm not trying to make an excuse, but it was just a tough off season for me, medical wise. And I'm just trying to get back on my feet.
Yeah, I know. And we had said, and I brought it up to you, we wanted to do the junior flagman thing, buy a set of flags, from us, have them set up on a board and basically sitting behind the flag stand and mimicking the flagman. I don't know if that's the right word,
That really won't be able to happen. We're going electronic flagman here. We're going to the update, and there'll be no flagman at all.
well, new news.
Prank time. Anyway, boy, that got the old facial expressions then. Boy, old Sam McCollum's probably down there in his bed right now, laying and going, "Oh my God, oh my God. What did he say? What did he say?"
I'm texting Sam
I'm being
right now.
replaced by electric.
No, guys, there's a particular track we all know down East Lincoln. Because like I said, I really, really try and stay on top of everything. But with that being said, I understand it's not going to happen here. No, flagman is an integral part of the program. And, your idea, we talked to her about junior. Absolutely. I'd love to see the fans in that involved. But here and again, when I look at certain things, we've got some real infrastructure issues here. Anybody's ever gone down the steps near the flagman trying to get on the track, I know that that's an issue. And it's something that has to be, addressed. We have some other issues here because safety is paramount. And I'm always dealing with issues here when it comes to that because insurance, and that's just not here, whether we're here in other tracks, the insurance companies are looking, at any area that they can to try and, keep somebody from getting hurt and causing a catastrophic, issue that they have to deal with, the track people have to, deal with. So yeah, that's something there that.
Well, I think this might be the right time or the wrong time to say. I've talked to drivers around here, and they've said, and maybe it's. I'm trying not to sprinkle spice on this too much, whether or not it's a pride thing or whatever. There's a lot of guys who are willing to help out here. They're just waiting to be asked to help. I'm not that way. If I see an avenue for something, we're going to try to do it. But maybe, this can, if you listen, Jesus, if you listen to this, come just offer your help. I've heard people say, well, if Dan would ask us, we'd come out and pick stones. We'd go out and do this. Don't wait for an asking, just offer it.
Yeah, don't wait for an invitation. Just show up.
Well, let me put this, and then that all sounds good. In theory, that sounds fantastic. But I cannot tell you how many times, that we have made arrangements and we've asked. I know people have busy schedules and that, and we had a volunteer thing, here announced here a while ago, and we were a lot of people were gonna show up and everything. We counted there was supposed to be like between 10 and 12 people show up. We had 3. Right, I remember this particular because we had a lot of rain, and there last year I don't remember sometime there maybe in early June, mid-June, and a couple of people, hey Dan, we'll bring up our lawnmowers and we'll bring in our riding mowers and we'll come up and help because we see it's getting a little heavy over there. I said, yes, it's pretty hard to get on there whenever it's been raining that much, but we'll be up. Okay. Nobody showed up.
No
Okay, not at all. So after a while, and this is kind of seemed blunt, you know what I say? Blah, blah, I'll just do it. And I've got a couple people that work with us. And I don't want certain individuals' head to swell too much, but she's sitting right behind you. This woman works, morning, noon, and night. She's been very supportive up here at the track, and has done an awful lot. And I've got a couple other key people that I can, depend upon. So, and after a while, I just, like I said, I just get tired of the empty promises. But hey, that was then, and maybe we'll try a couple of things this year that'll be a little bit different, and hopefully we can get a little bit more help. As you see, one of the areas has been a bone of contention because up here, I like to have 20 billy goats, okay, because just the way the weeds are and everything. But if you happen to look out the window and you look over there along the wall, over there in the lineup wall, you'll see that that's all gone. And
went over that when I came in.
yeah, and it's all done now. That'll be eventually that'll be mulched, and I'd love to be able to do because I love aesthetics. Okay, the track, like people come and say a nice clean facility, but we're going to take all the retaining wall blocks on the lineup road, pressure wash them, get them up, paint up, and we'll put "Welcome to Hidden Valley Speedway," okay, on it. Yes, they're little things that don't cost a tremendous amount of money, and I'm hoping I can get some volunteers and that to help, with that. So, but we did that there probably a good month ago, and all the muck and everything else. But I said we got to at least get it started, and we got it roughed in, and then come back another day. It wasn't too bad, and it's looking pretty good. So
that was one of the first things Justin said to me when he pulled in. It was the first thing he noticed. So it's working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And if Mother Nature cooperates, hopefully in between 3 and 4 on the bottom over there, we can up there where all the heavy weeds are, we can do a little bit, work there. I have a gentleman that's working with me at a pretty good rate. That's something that I can afford, and he enjoys doing it. So hopefully we can get him, back in here. He was available a couple of days ago, but it was just way, way too wet. So, but it's going to be, like I said, a work in progress. You'll come up to the races one weekend and, I don't see this done. Then you might come another week and say, wow, that was all done.
This might be a question for you, actually. Just talking about pit lineup and stuff. When did they stop using the other pit road?
The lower road?
Yes. I was watching some, what's his name? I don't want to.
Derek
Derek
Bobbitt,
yeah. He's been posting a lot of.
They used to line them up down there by the pond. And then when they called for us, we would come up on. But I want to say when Jeff Taylor took it over,
probably
when it
somewhere
was
right back
American
in there,
Motorsports Park.
2015, 24, somewhere.
That's when they started using the upper road.
Okay. I was just wondering, like I said, I watched it. It's obviously a change that happened. And
all right, I can give you a little history on that.
I love history.
Okay.
I've been loving watching these races.
Yeah. Well, I said a little while ago about, insurance. So the insurance company comes in here, and the very first year, well, Dan, you got to do this, you got to do that, blah, 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 blah. We're not going to issue a certificate of insurance. So it kind of really put the pressure, on us. And we got them done and got that taken care of. And then they said, well, we don't like the fact there's this pond down here. It's not barricaded, blah, 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 blah. And you're going to have to do something down there. I said, hey, guys, it's not going to do so much at a time. Okay, I said, work with me. And I said, I know every issue that's going on here with this track. So I think I've got a pretty good overall picture, and we got a game plan. But I can't do it all at one time. And, they said, we really want you to blockade that pit road up in the top. Because if a car's coming up here, and let's say a throttle sticks, there's a problem. He's going down over that bank. Then there's going to be a real problem. So we did that. They come up. They liked it. Then they said to me, well, we have another issue. The pond's there. Do you allow any race cars or anything on there? I said, no. Is it because, how deep's that pond? Well, I said, it varies. I said, well, you got to do something here, okay, in case there's a problem that nobody ends up in that pond. I said, okay. So these are just some of the things that's here. You got to do this, you got to do that. But no, I won't be using that road there at all for any type of race cars. We've got the lineup road there. It's a secure place. Needs a little better lighting. I've got 14 lights over here on the far end that just matter of just getting this stuff, done. So if I can keep them off my back and show them we're working with them, they're working with us, then it's a win-win situation, for everybody. Because like I said, I hate to sound repetitive, but there's just a lot of issues here that have been left go over the years, and that needs some major upgrades and stuff done. Rodney and I talk all the time, and I have all the respect in the world for Rodney and Kathy. They busted their butt and everything getting this place back, opened up, and they did a great job. And so now just want to try and take it, to the next level. And
Did you level that off some?
what's that?
Where the lineup is?
No, it just looks that way.
The hill doesn't look as steep.
Yeah,
I tell you what.
it's kind of an optical illusion, because before, with all that growth and the way things are, okay, it kind of threw things off. But now, okay, no, it's about the same. And I want to do a little bit of improvements on that there also. But the number one improvement that I would like to do there is with lighting, because that gets dark in there.
It does.
So, but here and again, yeah.
Maybe a little constructive criticism from
Sure.
me. I won't even call it criticism. Maybe like intermission time, run the water truck up that thing.
A couple of times we've done.
Yeah.
Okay, but here and again,
I know it's a waste of water
Yeah.
when you're short on water.
Yeah, and we have to try and we have to kind of weigh things out.
Yeah.
There won't be a shortage as far as for water, this year here. The other thing, you only see one water truck here,
Right.
all right? Because I got rid of the junk. I just can't do that. I brought my good water truck up here that I had up at Dog, and hopefully I have something else I'd love to be able to do just for things like that, for that road and the pit roads, as far as being able, keep them watered. Just a matter of getting it all together.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress, but that is a very, very legitimate concern.
Because there's days that it's perfect. You'll pull up there and you got no problem. But I've also sat in the back of the lineup on a 90-degree July day, and your back are going coughing up dust balls and
you're
everything
behind
else.
That guy that's just trying to win it. Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Let's test out our valve springs and lineup.
Yeah.
Well, in the ideal world, we won't have to worry about dust on that road someday.
Right.
Part of the 5-year plan.
So Dan, thanks for answering our questions about the Econo Lights. We're pretty excited to see who shows up, how many cars show up for it, and the thrill of seeing, that kind of car run and be competitive with one another. Let's jump into like test and tune. Anything new going on with it, or?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up there, Justin. We've had some people, I know my first year and last year, say, "Hey Dan, did you ever think about maybe doing a test and tune on an evening, and that way there we can kind of simulate like maybe like a race night." I said, well, I'll think about it. So I decided that for this year in 2024, we're going to do an evening test and tune. We'll do a 2-day special for the racers where if they come in, sign up for both Friday and Saturday. Friday night will be 7 to 11. Saturday will be from noon till I believe 7 in the evening. And we'll do that 2-day special for the racer and his car for $40, which I think is a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And it'll also give us a chance to, like I'm saying about lighting early in the season there, to be able to see exactly where our dark spots are, because I think we need to do a little bit of adjusting. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of tweaking or.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Have a gentleman there that's going to help me out there with a bucket truck, and he's going to be there that night so he can see, so that come Saturday morning we can get out there and get started on it. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right. So getting into wrapping this up here, I kind of wanted to ask a question, kind of put the shoes on the other feet, so to speak. So it's a Friday night. It's about 10:30, and you just pulled off the track in whatever car you're racing. What do you get out of your car and say? Just middle of the pack, average night. what do you get out of your car and say, and how do you feel about racing here? Right?
You're telling me I'm going to comment as if I'm the racer.
Yeah, I want you to put yourself in shoes. Maybe you haven't been in. Obviously, you haven't raced here. Um, and just what do you think we think getting out of here? Those of us who don't go on social media and just blab.
Well, if I was a racer, first I'd want to make sure, hey, is the track safe? Okay. Does the track have the proper personnel? Okay, here, do they have the ambulance? They have the fire people in place. I'd be very happy for that. And the second thing I'd say, hey, how was I treated at the pit meeting before the race got going? And then how was the race? How was the track surface? Was it bitey? Could I pass? Was it multi-groove? And I guess one of the more important things would be how was my fellow racers? Were they respectful? Did they race me clean? They raced me hard, but did they race me clean? So yeah, it's an adrenaline-filled sport, and I understand that. I'm in the car. I get fired up sometimes, running, but I just have to collectively collect my composure and say, okay, I don't know what happened to that particular person. Yeah, he got in my rear corner. Maybe he got bumped, didn't have any where to go. So me as a racer, I just try to always cool down before I explode, and try to get the facts. But also just to be thankful that, hey, I've got a track here to be able to race. These people were out here busting their tail to put on a show, and hopefully that have a good night, come back home, one safe piece, and look forward to the following week.
All right. And now this is how I wanted to end it. I recently listened to Dale Jr.'s podcast with Marty Smith. And Marty Smith said, his quote was, "Excellent lies at the intersection of passion and preparation." We've seen preparation. We know about the 5-step plan. What can you tell, signing off, what can you tell everybody about your passion for racing, for Hidden Valley Speedway, and just for all of us, the drivers and the spectators?
Sure, that's a great question. I just real quick. I started as far as promoting racing, and that was in 2013. Had the opportunity up at the Dog Hollow Speedway. In 2014, I took over as running the track up there. I've always been involved with some type of racing, whether it be stock car racing, whether it be drag racing. But stock car racing has just been something that's been really in my blood. Before you were born, before Justin was born, for a lot of people. My first stock car race was at the Housesdale Speedway, okay, in 1958. I had a uncle and aunt that owned a gas station in Asheville, Pennsylvania. So she'd say, "All right, all you bums out of the garage, it's time to go racing." And I was just a young kid, and she had an old Pontiac. I don't know what year it was. It was one of those old ones that had the big old fins in the back. And she was known as Leadfoot. That was her. It was my Aunt Berkey. That was her nickname. We'd hit the railroad tracks there, and I swear to God, it was like riding a big roller coaster. And if we had airtime, we'd hit those tracks, and we'd be up over, go up on 53, and she put pedal to the metal straight down to where the prison is now, and spent a lot of time there. So just been very fortunate to be involved with a lot of great people in the racing community. As a young punk kid at 15 years of age, was able to get involved with Clay Houston. My buddy was 17 years old, and he used to do these trips coming up and down the mountain from Altoona. And this one time I was invited up, so I went up, and that's back in the days, like I said, with Clay, Bob Shope, or Frank Hauser. And I was the grunt, swooping the floor up there and just trying to learn this, learn that. And one night Clay said, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" I said, "Oh, I don't know. Just want you to ride up with Bill, the Marion Center." So I went up with my buddy Bill, and Billy said to me, he said, "Now, Dan, they're running the heat race now." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Whenever they come in, we got to get this car jacked up, and we're going to be changing gears." I said, "What do you mean changing gears?" So he explained to me, he said, "Well, you just watch." He said, I'll have the speed wrench. He said, "I'm going to take all the nuts off the back end." He said, "You got to watch." He said, "That oil could be hot. You could burn." So, and I've told this story many times, but I'm going to tell it again for maybe people that's listening and don't know the story. got off. He hollers up to Herb. Hey, Herb, I need the gears. So Herb handles this plastic case down there and got gears in. So I put them on. And Billy hollers up. Hey, Herb, check this out. He looks down. He said, who's the dumb son of a that put them gears on? Said, that's me. You put them on backwards. To this day, he calls me Wrong Way Dan. He never lets me live it down. So, I mean, that's just a little thing we talk about. And I've just been around some really good people, living at the racetracks, going a lot of places, been Pennsboro several times, Knoxville, Eldora. Just love the racing community. A lot of people are hardworking blue collar people that just go out and bust their tails and live paycheck to paycheck. And I was a blue collar guy many years. I had a concrete business in Altoona for 20 some years, and dealt with a lot of residential hardworking there are people, and I just love the work ethic of a lot of people that's involved in racing. And at times, can it be challenging? Oh, absolutely. But I'm not in this here for the money, because anybody who's run a grassroots track knows you're not going to make a lot of money. And my goal has always been, if I can be able to pay the bills, put a little money aside for improvements, I'm a real happy camper. And because that's, I like this little track. I love Dog Hollow. Was there for the very first night whenever they opened up in 1992. And the first 3 weeks they rained out, then they went 17 weeks straight without a rain out. And in all those years that I was at Dog Hollow, going there, I don't think I've ever missed more than 5 races. So it's a passion. I enjoy it. Yet, does it drive me crazy at times? Do I get stressed at times? Yeah, it does. But I just kind of look at the overall, big picture, and I'm hoping that I, with the hard work and with a lot of the racing community here in Clearfield County and some of the support, that I've been getting, I'm hoping that we can get things, really improved up here so that the people of the area can come here and enjoy themselves. I really try to promote this as a family track. We've had some issues up here, and hopefully we've taken the proper steps to deal with that.
Now, you said about the support from the community. There's it's no secret that at first the support was a little bit rocky.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Do you feel that in the last 3 years that has been on an incline, and you feel like the community is coming around and the people are coming around?
Yes. Well, you have to look at, I think you have to look at the history. There's been a lot of turnaround up here at Hidden Valley Speedway. When you stop to think that whenever it started, it's gone through some different leases, some different, things have taken place. And so a lot of people are skeptical. And believe me, I hear it all the time.
And we don't, not we, Central Pennsylvanians do not like change.
Mhm.
So it's almost bred into us to be skeptical.
Oh, I understand. And, but hey, we got through the first year, got through last year, and the third year I'm excited about. And every year I just try to make some improvements that makes it, a little bit better. But I'm just a real firm believer. A lot of people don't know the name. A lot of the racers, especially if you're 50 years of age or older, will know the name Don Martin. Don Martin is the man that started Lernerville Speedway, and spent a lot of time over at Lernerville. I used to love to listen to Don, over there. Don, I'll backtrack a little bit. Don could never live in today's society or today's world with social media. Don was a great guy, did a lot of things for racers. He had the means to be able to do that. But Don used to always say, if you do something every year that the racers can see that you've made an improvement and made it better for them, they will show you their loyalty. Okay? Now, same way with the fans. If you can do something every year that makes that fan experience at the track, better, they will support you with your loyalty. I could take issue with some of that there, but we'll just leave that maybe for another, subject. But with that being said, overall, the racing community up here in Clearfield County is fantastic. There's a lot of storied history. We just got to get them, because there's so many different avenues for the average person to spend their hard-earned entertainment dollar. Okay. Back in the day, you didn't have computers. You didn't have all the stuff that I see these kids, with on their fingers, punching this, punching that. And it always cracks me up when I see somebody walking and boom, they run into a stop sign or run into a telephone pole. I usually roll down my window and have a few choice words there for them, and then they give me the fickle finger of faith. Just like with the good old Jeff Gordon, because everybody knows I'm a diehard Earnhardt fan, and whenever I'd see somebody there in one of their Earnhardt or Gordon apparel, I'd have to make a particular comment, and then they'd give me their fickle finger of faith. But it's all in fun. But all I can say to the people of Clearfield County and surrounding areas, come out, support us. If we're doing something right, tell us. If we're doing something wrong, tell us that also.
I do car shows and stuff with my car. I get called the car show trophy queen, or what was it? Something like that. Someone called me something like that because I don't try to win. I just try to win car shows. But when I go to these car shows, I do a lot of just reaching out. I did that ticket giveaway last year to a family from Pittsburgh. They didn't know about this. And they said to me, every time they come up to State College, if there's a race, they're going to come now. So like baby steps for butts and seats. But I think we're getting pretty close to out of time here. Do you have anything else you want to add? Anybody special you want to thank?
Yeah, I really do. I'd like to put a big shout out there to Rodney and Kathy for always being there, support me. And they got a wealth of information up there. And Rodney sees my little red rocket, the little Chevy Aveo coming down that driveway. He says, well, I know it's not just here to, tell me about a great truck I have because it's a Ford. And, but no, he's all joking aside, Rodney and Kathy and Jen, they've been very helpful. Down at Napa, they've been helpful. The great folks at Rally Auto Parts, their sponsor up here, they've been good. And I do want to make an announcement here. We have a new advertising sponsor coming on, Spanky's Courthouse Cafe. Okay.
My Sunday brunch.
Oh yeah. Well, we go in there a good bit. Love Spanky's. Rob is a big guy, race fan. He sponsors a couple, I think, local cars, there. And Rob and I have talked a lot. Great guy. And looking forward to, Rob coming on board up here. And there's a few other things, but like I said, the skepticism. All right. I have a particular sponsor or a potential sponsor I've been talked to. He said, Dan, I'd love to do something up there. Nothing against you. He said, I'd love to really be able to do something up there. He said, but I want to see 5 years of stability. He said, once I see that, then you come in and see me. He said, we're going to do something. And I said, I understand that. And I said, you got to creep before you crawl before you walk, and walk before you run. And, but in the meantime, there's still bills to pay. And there's things to take care of. And so that's what we're up against up here. Somewhat in the fact that I'm not from this area. But once I get up here, then I'll be able to go a little bit more full bore and get out there in the community and, get to know these people.
Right on. I guess we usually start the show off with us Justin and I going over our new news. We didn't really get into that. So do you have anything you want to touch base on before we sign off? I know you just fired up your new refreshed engine.
Yeah, we got it fired up there yesterday. Sounds good, sounds healthy. Working on a new wrap, new body, and picked up a couple new sponsors, and we'll be ready for hopefully test and tune.
Yeah, we're up again it right now. We got to beat out some body panels. We didn't really budget that this year, but we do have a new wrap going on, some new sponsors coming on as well, and a new engine actually getting away from the 604, putting a little more power under the hood. Gonna try to
not spin out.
I'll have a little more power to stand on.
There you go.
So,
we kid because we care.
Hey, I don't do it for winning yet.
Dan, as always, thanks for having us here at Hidden Valley Speedway. We look forward to seeing you here in a couple short weeks.
Couple weeks. Yeah, March.
So,
I think 12th
April 12th.
Yeah, April. I'm sorry. Yeah. The medicine's starting to wear off a little bit here, so I'm getting a little bit, But yeah.
Dan's getting tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
No, in all seriousness, Dan, thank you. We look forward to 2024 end of recap.
For everybody listening, we thank you for tuning in. Sorry for the breaks in shows. Hopefully we can get that figured out. We have the studio being built. I've been meeting with contractors, so that's coming. Until then, thank you. We'll see you next time.